What up, y'all? This is Justin Muzak, and you are now tuned into Justified Media. I have a very special guest, a friend of mine, really talented MC, lyricist, Mark Ant. How you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm feeling good, man. What's the deal?
Man, it's a pleasure to have you here. It's been a few years since we've actually spoken. I know a lot about you, but for the world, who is Mark Ant?
I mean, Mark Ant is described in a lot of different ways. I would like to put it overall, just a hustler, though, somebody that appreciate the culture, somebody that knows what the culture needs, that's been examined in this game for a while. Just a thorough individual. I like to be a voice box for the people that's unheard, to really document this life that a lot of people don't see,
Yeah, take us a little bit through your journey. When did you realize that rap was the best way to express yourself, especially coming from Flint, where there's a lot of things going on that the world may not be privy to?
I think like in my life, like self-expression kind of comes like, it just came early on, like as far as just illustrating the things around me, it started with like drawing and all that in my mom's house. And I used to be like super locked in on that. But as I got older though, like rap was just introduced to me by like the age of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I seen the recording process real early. So when I started seeing like the people my brother was recording, and how they was talking about certain things I was familiar with in the neighborhood, like I understood what they was saying. And it's like it kind of resonated with me. And I seen how people attached to it, it attached to me. So, I've been writing and rapping since, 10 years old. So I figured that was the best way to express myself early,
Yeah, no, you said that your brother was recording people and doing everything.
He was doing his thing early.
So describe the early Flint sound as, from your perspective. Like, what was that sounding like?
Well, like when I was coming up though, like early as a kid, like the Flint sound was more so like the TDF, like the Dayton Family, like Top Authority, certain artists like that, that was like regional. They had reach in other places, but they was selling units where we was from early, so they kind of formed that type of identity early. A lot of people in their generation, I would like to think, was trying to rap like them, trying to copy that a little bit. Not everybody, no disrespect, but you had Jake the Flake. You had a lot of sounds early on, that street, that grimy sound,
Mm-hmm.
And and then it just kind of died down a little bit as time kind of progressed and generations changed, things changed.
Yeah. Was the Detroit sound kind of already influencing the Flint sound, or was it more like y'all were influenced with what was happening in the mainstream and that kind of got cooked up in there?
I think the D though, like, we so close that most of the time, we kind of experience the same things. Like it feel the same, it sound the same. So most of the time, like, we kind of come off, the same type of way when we rap and when we do things, but it was a difference though, it definitely back then, because you had different type of artists like the Blade Ice Woods, you had like the Cheddar Boys down there, just different type of groups, and then you had the Jay Dillers, of course, so it was more people, more sounds, more feels, so they sound always been kind of a little bit different, and our sound always been a little bit more grimier, because it's like it's less going on in Flint, so the inspiration different.
Yeah. A popular saying is there's something in the water, and the Flint water crisis is such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
How has that affected the music, for better or for worse?
Shit, I think really with the water crisis, because even now, like, it's over with, but I still be getting just questions about it. People still ask me what was it like. I think, as a city, we already was grinding before that. We already had people coming through before the internet era, but the fact that I just think it made us work 10 times harder, because now our city has an identity away from the water crisis. Like, we have all these artists, the sound, Clarissa Shields, killing shit. So we got like things all across the board. So it might have inspired the city as a whole to change the narrative though, to let people know we got some shit to talk about down there.
Yeah, it's so funny you're talking about Flint and it being like very individualistic. I've always viewed the Midwest as individualistic, because
it's a whole different
Chicago, Ohio, obviously the D, Flint, like wherever else, even Minneapolis, right?
Yeah.
With atmosphere and everything like that. I've always said y'all are a region of individuals.
Yeah, for sure. everybody kind of got their own culture. Like Indiana dudes is different from
Mhm.
Ohio, Michigan, Chicago. You know, everybody kind of got their thing, but certain areas kind of got a blend of everything. You know,
Would you say that y'all kind of mastered the independent hustle? Because I've seen a lot of great independent movements come from the
Yeah.
Midwest.
I mean, I think it definitely, yeah, because we ain't had no option. You know, like if you think about it, it wasn't like no labels, wasn't nobody really coming through there like that. So like for my generation, you know, I would like to think that like we just kind of took the hustle we had and just capitalized with the social media coming out and then YouTube. Like you had like the Doughboy Cash Out era, TV
Right.
side and all them, and they was
Right.
kind of coming up in that era, you know, and really hustling, putting out tapes, doing videos. And then you had like the For Show Mag down there early on. And these was like
Right.
platforms that, you know, that as a collective we was building, you know, and on an independent level that got viewers, subscribers, and people tuning in from everywhere because we don't got that many people in Michigan like that. So
Right.
these people was coming from other places. You know, they just want to see what we had going on. And it
Right.
just grew over time.
Well, do you consider yourself an OG kind of in the Flint scene, and now you're seeing these other artists and the sound starting to become more popularized?
Yeah.
How do you see yourself in the mix of that? You know, being somebody who grassroots, you're from Flint, you've been doing your thing and everything like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, in my own way though, I feel like a godfather figure though in my own way.
Got
you know
it,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, and everybody got their own way of doing things, you know. So I feel like for me, it's like really just I mean, I feel like yeah, I'm older than a lot of artists out there, you know, and I really do feel like at the same time it's like it's like a bridging of the gaps. You know what I
Alright,
mean?
okay.
Because like we all grew up in the same culture out there. We all experience the same things, but it's something about how we do things out there. Like you have artists that's like, you know, like Louis Ray clicking in with artists like Y and J. That's a different
Right.
age gap. You know, you gotta think about them type of artists is my age, and then Y and J is younger than us. You know,
Alright,
so
yeah.
you know we kind of all work as a collective out there. So you know the OG thing is like, yeah, it's out there, but it's like we all kind of coexist with each other because a dude can be 20 out there paid, he can be an OG out there, you know, based on his
Man,
influence with his
yeah.
people and how he move, you know. But I like to look at myself as a godfather figure because I'm one of the originals and I'm still here, I'm still doing this shit, and I ain't changed, I ain't flipped, and I ain't washed. You know, I'm still standing, I'm still grinding, and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're an incredible artist in your own right,
hmm
but you've collaborated with a lot of people, like you said. I mean, you have a new project with Cash Cola, which
Yeah.
is in a different bag. I mean, this is the second project you have done with this person. What's it like, kind of that person entering into your world and you entering into their world? Because every artist, no matter what, they have their own individual fingerprint, they have their own sound.
Yeah.
What's that like, trying to make sure y'all have like that unified sound?
I mean, like for me and bro, for example, like we grew up together though. So it's like we went to like same schools and all that, you know, same circle, you know. But you know how cliques and everybody be like, you can
Mhm.
have a circle, but you know, you might have these 4 or 5 dudes that might kick it, and then these 4 or 5 dudes, but we all know each other, you know, we all together, but we just separate. So, you know, with Cola though, it was easy to collab with him because I knew that he knew music. He knew the type of music that I do. I knew the type of music he do. I know his resume, his profile is solid. He a stand-up dude, always been stand-up. So it was easy to like kind of mesh with bro easy. You know, that's like my brother. So it's like, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't hard to do. It was super organic. You know, that was like
Right.
probably the most organic when it come to creating like a collab project. This is the second one, so we just still going. So it's yeah, you know, it's just a solid understanding between me and bro, and I think that's what it is.
Right. And you're continuously working on your music. You're working a lot with RMC Mike.
Yeah.
What's that like, collaborating with him? And does he kind of take you out of your comfort zone, or do you feel like you're comfortable whenever you're rhyming next to him because he brings out something that reminds you of why you do what you do?
Nah, for real. No, I mean it go back to kind of similar to Cola. Like we from Flint. You know, everything they talk about, you know, that's my world too. You know what I mean? I grew up in the same world, you know, and with him, I've been knowing bro for a long time since we was young kids, you know, so I know what world he come from. You know what world I come from. You know what I mean? We done been slept in the same houses. You know what I mean? So we you know, it's an identity thing. You know, and he know how to rap. And at the end of the day, I feel like every Michigan artist really know how to rap. You know, There ain't no singing really going on out there like that. No disrespect, but we all rapping. So it's not hard for me. You know, I like to think of as like a seasoned artist. One of the best doing it is like, it's not hard for me to hop in different bags. You know, especially when it come to rapping, whether it's if you switch the beat, you know, my heart still pumps some type of way for that. Like even they style of music, it still like runs through my veins too. Like I still feel it. I still see it the same way I see my music. So it's like easy to collab. And you know, with bro, it's just super organic. You know?
Right. I mean, you touch on your real life.
Yeah.
And sometimes people can misinterpret it as you're glorifying something. But do you see yourself more as a reporter, or, you know, your music is more like a journal or a diary?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like as an artist, you know, I'm going to be real, right? Because, you know, that's like a good question. Like, as an artist, I always got to take responsibility for the influence I bring. You know, a lot of people feel like rap don't influence nobody, but it's like, when I was growing up, I seen a lot of people trapping because of Jeezy. You know what I mean?
Of course, man.
I
Snowman.
seen a lot of people doing shit like that because of the music. You know, people that come from good homes, bad homes, whatever. Everybody trying to get some money a certain type of way. You know, so I accept responsibility on how my or accountability on how my message can be mixed and screwed. But I don't try to glorify nothing that I haven't seen. You know, these are the things I'm seeing. So I look at myself definitely as an author, and as an author, you got to go through things. You got to bump your head so you can be relatable to the next individual, you know? And it's just, I really look at it like it's more so crazy on society that, you know, you got artists that's rapping and still pumping this image that people take as negative, but society produced it. You know what I mean? It's also a deeper problem other than just the rap. You know what I mean? You change the narrative in the communities, then maybe the rapper change. But, you know.
Right. I've always looked at it like y'all never talk about the filmmakers who make these horror movies and all these other things.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Way worse. You know what I mean? Like, shit. Like, even, you know, I'm a big fan. Like, you think just like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
a fan of his, though, for sure. But them shits is bloody as hell. Crazy. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I feel like movies, like even like street movies, you know what I mean? Like, all of this shit is influential. You know, if not more influential, because you can actually see it. You know, when you listen to a song, you can imagine it. But when you watch movies, when you got Snowfall and Power Out, for somebody that got a taste of hustle, that shit gonna make you want to hustle. It's gonna make you want to get some money, you know. So, you know, people can throw their life away real easy because of that.
Right. And we're in an era where there are so many microphones.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Cameras, everything.
Cameras.
You know?
I mean, everything's a show. Everything's being produced. Do you ever shy away from speaking your perspective? Because, you know, on one side of the fence, there's people who are going to relate to it, but then there's the other side of the fence where they're going to be like, well, look at what he's talking about. This is this and this is that.
I think, though, really with that, though, man, I feel like just everything ain't for everybody. You know, at the end of the day, you know, it's for the people that want to hear it and the people that understand. You know, it's just like food. Like, not everybody going to like the taste of everything. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to take things and perceive it based off their perspective. You know, I mean, my perspective is different than yours, you know, so, you know, you can't really say what's right or wrong. It's all based on the individual. I mean, we know what's right or wrong based on what laws tell us to do and what people tell us to do, but, you know, it's a difference, just a different taste, you know. Some people can't relate to it the same way or see it the same way.
What I love about you is you rap. You a real spitter. You come with that raw and grittiness. What I want to really ask is, do you view rap as a sport?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. It's like pure athleticism when it comes to spitting, though. Like, you know, rap is for sure a sport. When it comes to rapping, like, doing what I do, for sure it's a sport. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, how you put together bars and how you know, choose not to just say anything, you know?
Right.
It's like it comes with a certain level of artistry and patience, you know, understanding for what you want to put out, you know what I mean? So I feel like, hell yeah, it's a sport, because the more you do it, the better you get. Just like working out, just like going to the gym, the more just like playing basketball, the more you do it, you get better. So it has to be a sport, you know what I mean?
Because the argument is it's art and, you know, there's no clear winner.
Nah, for sure.
But it seems like we're in an era where, you know, rap battling and beef is at an all-time high. And we won't touch too much on Drake and Kendrick because, you know, I mean, that's like
Right,
beating a dead horse. But, you know, it's so much a part of the conversation of, is rap a sport? Or is it just an art? Or what's the point of rap right now, and where are we going? So I want to hear it from someone who's a hungry MC who really be out here.
I think rap is an art form that's competitive. And, you know, that's what makes it feel like a sport. But it's also gritty, though. You got to understand it's come from the street. So it's like people can't try to change what this is. There's no rules, really, when it comes to how you decide to get your message across. That's why it's a thing called freedom of speech. You know what I'm saying? So it's like whether people get disrespectful, whether, you know, it's all to be taken as a form of art. You know what I mean?
Right.
So people take things, I feel like, too literal. You know what I mean? And that's why rap has the influence it has on the average individual, because it's just like you got like regular human beings out here walking around that's just easily programmed and easily swayed. You know what I'm saying? Then you got, you know, people that think a little differently, that understand what's really going on. You know, so when it come to rap, it's like this shit ain't nothing literal, though. It's nothing to be taken literal. It's definitely just like comedy. Like how two comedians can sit up and you know, roast the shit out of each other, though. You know what I mean? And it's like it's all love. You can talk about this person mama, that person mama. It's all fair game when you enter this arena. And that's how it is with me. It's like when you enter this arena, it's all fair game. You can't try to make nothing up. You know what I mean?
Right. I have this conversation a lot off air about art that comes from street culture.
Yeah.
I mean, DJing comes from street culture.
Yeah. It's not all negative, right? Like street culture in itself ain't all negative. You know
no,
what I
of
mean?
course.
For sure.
Skateboarding comes from street culture.
Yeah.
Even different genres. House music comes from street culture. You know, it's called warehouse music. There's always pushback from the purists that are there, because they're like, well, this wasn't what it was intended. So like, again, being a huge fan of skateboarding, when skateboarding went to the Olympics, they're like, well, no, skateboarding is an art. It's not a sport.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So there's always that conversation. Do you think that anything that comes from street culture shouldn't be tied to any corporate entities, or no?
No, I feel like it definitely should, though. You know what I mean? You feel like you saying as far as like street culture, and should it be tied to corporate America?
Yeah, like if something comes from the streets and it grows and people are able to monetize it, is that okay, or is that a form of selling out?
I mean, if you could sell it in the hood, you could sell it in the suburbs. You know,
there you go.
And that's a trap. That's a trap mentality. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I could sell it here, I could sell it anywhere. I ain't gotta just be here. You know what I mean? It's gonna sell.
How do you feel about when people start to switch up and they kind of forget about where they came from to assimilate into corporate America?
I mean, I feel like based on whatever a person views for themselves as growth, they gotta take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at it like it's not up to me to like try to persuade or try to convince what the next person should do with their money.
Right.
You know, I feel like I should more so just stand by example in what it is I want to do, because I'm pretty sure it's people that elevate and grow and don't necessarily do a lot for their, you know, their community where they come from, that's still solid people that do a lot for their family. Maybe they, you know, their family's family. You know what I mean? It just goes on and on. So I think that's just based on a perspective. But I feel like as far as disrespect and how you treat people, that's a different type of story. You know, you know, you can still be far from where you grew up at and still be a solid person. You know, you don't got to be reaching back every second in order to be labeled as real.
Right.
You know, I don't think so.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I mean, you've already said that rap is a competitive art. What is something that MCs, specifically MCs, what is something that they have been losing sight in this competitive art? Like, what is something that you wish you would see more when it comes to MCs?
I mean, I think I just want to see more like diversity in what we do. It is like, I feel like the rap game still is diverse. It's very diverse, right? But we need more just diversity, people being themselves. You know, there's nothing wrong with following the sound. We all influenced by sounds, you know what I mean? But I just feel like diversity in the game on what's selling. You know, we got to reevaluate a price point for every type of music. You know what I mean? I feel like it's $5 bags, $10 bags, and $20 bags. And some people sell $5 bags.
Mm-hmm.
Some people sell $20 bags, you know what I mean? So I feel like it all helps and it all works when it kind of correlates with each other. So as long as we stay creative, you know, as long as we have different branches of artists, the same way how you got Draco and Kendrick from the same city, you know, that's diversity. You know, that's like left and right there.
Right.
You know, two artists saying the same thing, but in so many different ways. You know what I mean? It's like one person is living it, the other person is telling the story from the window.
Right.
You know, and we need both of that, you know, in the game, I feel like.
Right. I mean, I love the diversity talk. What does getting out of your comfort zone, what does that look like for Mark Ant? Like, if you did this as an artist or as a person, what does that look like for you?
I mean, I feel like I always try to like get out of my comfort zone.
Got it. Okay.
But that started from being like having a hustle mentality, because when you too comfortable, you end up slipping. You know.
Oh yeah.
That's what happens. When you're too comfortable, you end up complacent. You end up getting fat. You end up broke. You end up settling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I always try to push to get out of my comfort zone. Like, to be honest, I want to do all type of music. You know, like, you know, I'm black and Hispanic, so it's like I want to get up with Latin artists.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do different things. You know, things that's outside of what I grew up on in Flint, Detroit, Michigan, California, you know, Georgia, wherever. You know, I want to just kind of get into that. I don't know. Like, I done listen to music from artists from Africa. You know, I done listen to all type of things. So, like, I feel like getting out of my comfort zone would be me not necessarily taking a pop approach, but me working with artists all over the world that got, you know, that's really hungry and artistic out here. You know,
Right,
I feel like that'd be fly.
I mean, I rarely get to have the Afro-Latino talk, but we gonna do it a little bit.
Yeah, for real, definitely.
All right. So, you being Afro-Latino, do you speak Spanish fluently?
No, not at all.
Same here.
Not at all. But, you know, being in California has allowed me to, like, have a better sense of identity on who I am or where I come from as a person, you know, because where I come from, it's like, you know, I was like kind of the eyeball on my block. You know, I was the mixed kid on my block, basically. Yeah. So it's like, you know, I come out here and, you know, I see just how diverse it is and so many different races, ethnicities, and how people is mingling and getting along. And, you know, like, even there, you don't got to use Spanish and, you know, where I come from. You don't got to grow up. You ain't seeing, you know, words in Spanish from certain restaurants. You're not seeing that. You know, if you do, it's like very rare though. So out here, it just kind of gave me a better sense of identity to be able to connect with my, you know, with my Hispanic side more. You know.
On what side? Is who's Latino on your side?
My mom's. Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah, Pop's got another Latina out there in Michigan.
So for me, it's my dad.
Thing, yeah. Oh, your dad, huh?
Yeah,
okay,
Flores. So it's crazy for me. I'm black presenting, but then the last name Flores. So Justin Flores here.
Yeah,
they're like,
I mean, but you know, out here you never know. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because you know you see the blackest niggas speaking Spanish out here. You know what I mean? They be, I'm from somewhere else. You be like, damn, like okay, like what the fuck, like shit.
Right.
Crazy, you know. But it be like that, you know.
Would you say your Latin roots have influenced your music in any type of way, or?
I mean, you know, I feel like, you know, I try to incorporate certain words, certain things, certain little shit that I pick up on, but I just feel like it's in me. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't have to try to be anything. Like, you know, I'm Mark Ant. You know, it's in my name, you know. It's like my name it shows where I come from. If you can really dissect it and you know who I am, you know, it's in my name. You know, it's me.
I want to get into that father talk before we get out of here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Have you had that conversation with your son of like, hey, I want you to embrace both sides, you know, the Afro part and the Latino part?
I mean, my son, though, he's been kind of blessed to be around a lot of different cultures early. Mm-hmm. So he's like fully aware, though. You know, getting him to speak different languages, getting him to speak Spanish in different languages is like a little bit more of a challenge.
Got it.
But he definitely has a sense of identity of who he is, you know.
That's a beautiful
and stuff
thing.
Like that, you know. So he knows, though, for sure. He definitely do.
Does he want to rhyme like Pops?
Nah, he has his own thing, though.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he's more like me, taking more so of the straight route, you know. It's like, you know, I didn't play sports because of the things I was doing, like especially getting in the street young. But him, he's like what I was supposed to be. So it's like, you know, he's an athlete. He's doing good in school. He goes to school. I didn't go to school. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But the mentality I had, I should have went to school because it would have been easy work. You know, that's just like more, you know.
But it's never too late. Are you one of those people where you're like, man, I'm too old. I want to go.
I don't never feel like nothing too late though. I feel like, you know, just like Nip and them say, man, life is a marathon, man. And when I first moved to Cali, my cousin, man, she told me like, you know, it's a journey out here. Just never step foot off your journey. You know, so you just gotta stay on your path though. That's the most important. No matter what you go through, find your lane and stick to it. You know.
And I love the fact that you allow your son to be his own person because a lot of times, you know, if I could have the junior talk, they're like, all right, you have to uphold my legacy. You have to have my name. But you know, I mean, as I step more into that role, I see myself, you know, allowing my son and my future kids to be who they are. So
you gotta let them be themselves. I feel like people try to somewhat like make them kids be them too much.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? Or people try to like raise people. I mean, you can raise people with principles, morals, ethics, all of that, man. But you don't have to like, you know, you still gotta let them be them. You know what I mean? You gotta let people make their own decisions. Like people gonna make their own decisions at the end of the day. The best thing you can do is influence it. You know, influence it by being just a stand-up person. You know, whatever it is that may take, or whatever it is, however that look for you. You know, that's just how you got to do it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel like when people try to raise their kids too much, they push them away. Then they wonder why they fucking daughter on drugs or some shit, or she dating this dude across town.
Man.
And don't want to come home because she got more peace of mind with him than she got at her own house. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't be too hard on people these days, man. You know, it's all about love at the end of the day.
yeah, it's a lot of unhealed trauma. But we're coming to the close of this, man. I mean, I know you got new music on the way.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of stuff going on. So this is your time. You got the floor is open for you to plug in anything that you want to go ahead and plug in.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tap in like this, you know. This Mark Ant, you know. For the rest of this year, we smacking them. I got things uploaded. You know what I mean? We already ready to go. Everything sealed and solidified. It's all pressure. You know what I mean? So I told myself by the end of the year, something going to be different. You know what I mean? And, you know, I look at it like this. I'm a solid person. So if I say that in this camera and it don't happen, that mean I'm lying. You know what I mean? And I ain't no liar, though, at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do is we just solidifying the brand, man. We just showing people the difference in what I do versus everybody else. And we got the proof for it, you know what I mean? And we ready, you know? So just look forward to a lot of breaking away from the traditional settings that you see artists doing. You know, we trying to take back control, and we starting early. Before we even get too late in this thing, we starting early. So we taking back control. We trying to put the money back in our pockets. We get it on the front end, let them get it on the back end. You know, it's all about ownership, black and brown ownership.
Amen.
You know, we paint the narrative, we change the media, we influence. You know, we inspire.
Amen. Amen. Well, you know what it is. Justified Media. This is Justin Muzak, and I'll catch y'all soon. Stay justified.